What's up guys, Leo here. This is how vaping has changed my life. Well, my story is a little different from others. I actually quit being a smoker about 7 years ago. An everyday smoker. And I managed to keep at that for 3 years, didn't touch a single cigarette. But on the 4th year I started to smoke socially, and I'm talking about a couple cigarettes when I'm out with the buddies. But as time progressed, I found myself smoking more and more. It went from a couple cigarettes to like 5, 6, 7 cigarettes. And I also smoked occasionally while I was snowboarding. But last year, I started smoking a lot while I was snowboarding. So much that I went out and bought a pack. And that was the first pack I had bought in about 6 years. But thankfully, right around that time is when my friend got, one of those Ego VVs. Now, I've known about vaping before. I tried the cigalikes. I've seen the little small Egos, and those are cool. It interested me, but it didn't interest me enough for me to go and research vaping and all that. That is until I hit my friend's VV, and the vape experience from that was just completely different from cigalikes and those other regular Egos. I was like taken by it. So I went home that night and started researching about vaping, and I was like a sponge soaking up all this information. And I ended up buying a Ego spinner myself, and that lasted me all but 2 weeks. I traded that for a K100, and the rest is pretty much history. I started becoming mod crazy, like a lot of you. And vaping to me, it's not just about getting off the analogs. There's a lot more to it for me. One of the greatest things for me about vaping is I'm changing other people's lives. I got my wife off cigarettes, I'm getting friends and family off cigarettes, and I'm helping people from all around the world, make their vaping experience better. And to me, that's the greatest feeling ever. Cigarettes, as we all know, it is one of the worst things you can do to your body. Arguably, it is the worst thing you can do to your body. And to be able to help people quit that nasty habit with the safer alternative, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And I'd also like to talk about why I'm a cloud chaser. Okay? Well, a lot of people don't realize is, cloud chasing to me isn't just about, oh, I want to look cool, I want to impress people, I want to be hip. It's not about that for me. Yeah, I like having fun, posting videos, kind of like showing off or whatnot. But for me, the whole reason I started smoking, it's not because I saw kids smoking. I thought they were cool in high school, with the cigarettes, all those movie stars and movies looking all cool, smoking a cigarette. It wasn't about that. I was always fascinated by just the act of blowing smoke, about the aspect of blowing clouds. My father was a smoker for as long as I can remember. Almost his entire life he was a smoker. And it's always fascinated me, and that's actually how I got my first cigarette, was snuck one out of his stash. And this fascination of mine with blowing clouds actually got me into trouble with other substances. And I've always been enamored with blowing clouds, and naturally that's why now that I'm vaping, I'm a cloud chaser. I've always said, back in those bad times of my life, that I wish somebody would come out with a safer way for me to blow clouds. I used to tell my friends, after I quit those bad habits, like, the day someone makes something where I can blow clouds without all the negative side effects, I'm going to be doing it. And vaping is the answer to that. I can now chase clouds and not have all the negative side effects of that other stuff. I wasted 2 years of my life and health because of my addiction to that. And I want people to understand, that's, maybe there are other cloud chasers like me that are doing it because just blowing clouds is just really mentally addicting. It honestly is to me. It's a mental addiction. And I'm glad I can take care of that with vaping, because vaping has now gotten me completely off cigarettes, and I have no desire to smoke a cigarette. I have no desire to do anything else. That's awesome. There, let me take a vape real quick. And you know, the other thing about cloud chasing is I mainly vape zero nicotine when I cloud chase. I mean, at most I put 6 in there. And even with 6, I dilute it with, you know, zero nic. So that's another great aspect about cloud chasers that a lot of people ignore, is it helps people taper down the nicotine. But I'm not gonna lie, you do increase your risk when you're a sub-ohmer. So make sure you guys educate yourself on batteries. You guys should be doing that anyways, cloud chasing or not. And to be honest, most of the battery failures I'm seeing, like 99% of them, are not coming from sub-owners, because people just don't educate themselves about batteries. And let's face it, these batteries are not to be fooled with. They need to be respected. These are batteries that are going in laptops, and we've all heard those stories about laptops exploding. Well, these are the same batteries that we are using. And these manufacturers do not like us taking their batteries, putting in a vape metal tube mod, and bringing it up to our face for a vape. So, respect the batteries, people. Alright, I sidetracked a little bit. So let me talk about a few more things that vaping has changed in my life. 1, I stalked the mailman. I stalked the mailman like I've never stalked a mailman before. 2, I now get super sad when there's no vape mail when I check the mail. I'm like crying. Even when I know I'm not expecting vape mail, I still get upset when there's no vape mail. And 3, I can have a coffee and a vape. I can have a big meal and vape afterwards. I can go in the bathroom and have a Vape. I can do all the things I used to love doing when I was a smoker, but do that with vaping instead, which is, again, much, much safer. I don't care what anyone says, this is much safer. Alright guys, well, that's how vaping has changed my life, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.